Hello, wildlifers. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are attending from. Hope you are all doing fine. We, members of Rotary Fellowship of Wildlifers for Conservation, share a common interest, that is wildlife and its conservation, willing to work with the 120-year-old organization Rotary towards building a future in which people and nature thrive. To share a few notes about our fellowship group, we are a member of around 850 interested Rotarians, Rotractors, and individuals who have globally united around a common interest with the primary purpose to network and further friendship. Our purpose is to create awareness about importance of wildlife, to promote lasting friendships outside one's own club, district, and country, and to promote locally, regionally, and globally that conservation of living resources are important to humans and future generations to enjoy our natural world and the incredible species that live within it. Today, we have members from different Rotary clubs and friends of Rotary from different parts of the world for this meeting. A hearty and a warm welcome to each one of you. On behalf of wildlifers, I also extend a very warm welcome to our speaker, Rotarian Christopher Putok. Chris was one of SRAG's 25 founding directors in 2015, and he was SRAG's first executive director from 2015 to 2018. He was a chair elect for 2018-19 and director of administration and governance division, chair for 2 years in 2019 and 2021, then finishing his 6 years on the board as immediate past chair and the director of projects division. Under his tenure as chair, ESRAG grew from fewer than 250 members to more than 1,450 with 12 regional chapters. Prior to ESRAG, he was an organizer in the Environment Fellowship of Rotarians at Recons for 5 years. From 2021 to 23, Chris was chair-elect and now chair of the advisory board of the 26 Rotary Action Groups. Chris has been working with RAGs, that is Rotary Action Groups, to recognize the synergies between them. Chris is now in his third year as chair of Rotary Action Group for Endangered Species, also called as RAGES. He has maintained the essential model of RAGES and expanded it to all endangered species of plants, animals, and their habitats, focusing on the bigs, the smalls, the vegetation, and overall biodiversity loss. He has a passion to prevent the demise of ecological services by human exploitation, reaching past the tipping point where nature is not permanently damaged. As a research scientist, Chris has more than 5 decades of experience in environmental conservation, preservation, and restoration. He has a doctorate in systematic botany, describing new species of flowering plants and algae, creating habitat restoration databases, and prize-winning book on wetlands. He spent 15 years working in mangrove restoration. When DRR and Judith Demen, MBE, was looking for the expert on mangroves in Rotary, she recommended him to President Shekhar Mehta to take on Rotary mangrove aspirations. Chris has managed large conservation conferences and was also program manager for Rotary at COP27, Sharm el-Sheikh, and COP28 in Dubai, where Rotary International had its first ever pavilion. Chris, his wife Terrell Erickson, who is also attending today's meeting, and their 4 cats live in Hawaii, active in Rotary for water and the environment. He is president of Rotary Club of Aloha, Hawaii International. Chris was also here in Bangalore in the last year, during the last year when Rotary Club of Satellite Club of EcoWise was launched. Yes, over to you, Chris. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sanjay, for that introduction. Um, I'm going to start sharing my screen and launch into my presentation. I hope everybody can see that.
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Okay, thank you. All right. So this presentation today is, I thought I'd just briefly talk about fellowships and action groups to start with, and then I'm going to invite my wife Terrell to talk a little about some background of Rages, and then I'll continue talking about the way we see Rages moving forward with biodiversity loss. Okay, so everybody likes the red panda on my front page here. We'll come to that again. Why is it not moving forward? Here we go. This is just my outline. Firstly, should we be concerned about biodiversity loss? Then we're going to talk about it's the truth, and then gathering our passions, rages at ICONS, the annual Endangered Species Art Award, forming working groups, and then reporting on projects. So my first question is where to find Rotarians concerned with biodiversity loss in Rotary, and those people that are really affiliated with Rotary, and how do we move forward with connecting with them. So within Rotary, we have these fellowship groups, and Wildlife is for Conservation is one of them. There are about 140 fellowships, and I went through them, and I was really quite disappointed to see how few there were. These fellowship groups are groups that work around particular themes of interest, like beer drinking and wine and stamp collecting. And so you can have a very narrow idea of what you'd like to do, friends that you'd like to have within Rotary, and form groups. And all you have to have is a number of countries and a number of members that are associated with doing that to launch your fellowship. So there's a fellowship for bees, um, a fellowship for bird watching. There used to be an environment fellowship. Most of those members moved over into SRAG. There's about 50 members remaining in that fellowship. I joined the Environment Fellowship in 2010, and that's where I first started to get active within basically a focus group for the environment. And of course, you all are Wildlife is for Conservation. So why are there so few fellowships? And I just put that out there. I think there's a great opportunity for many more fellowships around different individual species, and also for various aspects of the environment that could be formed, but they're not there yet. So just these examples I just want to pull out for you. Beekeepers, they have a website. The top left-hand corner is that one. And these three fellows in the top right are actually people that were associated with SRAG and probably are still members of SRAG, but they have their own fellowship associated with bees in particular. Then you have birdwatching Rotarians. They have a really very good website with lots of interesting things about birds. And birds are birders are very popular around the world. You find birders moving around, and they're particularly interested in endangered species as well. And then, of course, the Rotary Fellowship for Wildlife is for Conservation. And obviously you know all about yourselves. Then where do we find Rotarians concerned with action groups? There are 26 action groups, and I've highlighted just a couple here. Plant Food Solutions has about 3,000 members, and they developed their Rotary Action Group from a database that was put together by a fellow named Bruce French, in Tasmania. So his database really provides information from that. Then community economic development, peace, disease and health action groups for education and water, environmental sustainability, particularly focusing on Operation Pollination, a pledge for preserving space for butterflies, and then endangered species. And my question here is, can everything we do for biodiversity loss fit within the action groups? And I believe it can. So just as an example here, these food plant solutions, they actually approached me after Calgary and said, how can they be associated with the endangered species Rotary Action Group? And basically what they do is hold that massive database of 30,000 individual species that are associated with locations. And so around the world, they can identify the local species that we use for foods that are now either becoming rare because they have been, their habitat's been overtaken by growing the 10 or 12 really common species that we grow for food crops everywhere now. And so the rare species that are associated with them are, have a potential of being protected through really, believe it or not, growing them for local food. Then I put in here community action for community and economic development. This one is an opportunity because they provide a really good global network of connecting people with activities that are associated with economic growth. And of course, when you have economic growth, you have to also look at how the environment is impacted by that economic growth. Then I see that peace is very important, because where you see where you have peace, then you have better prosperity, and looking at the health of the environment is one of the things that you can do when you're not at war. And of course, WashRag is looking at clean water, and water obviously affects everything that grows around it, so that's really important. So life persists where there is prolonged peace, health, safety, clean water, prosperity, and education. Then to SRAG, Environmental Sustainability Rotary Action Group. These are on the left of three of their sliders that they have on their front page. And I was really interested to see that they were doing a planting in the first one, they were doing something with mangroves in the second, and they're doing something with plastic cleanups in the third. And so I see the biodiversity is lost when there's war, lack of clean water, plastic and heat pollution, and overuse of resources, and lack of environmental education. So this then brings me to talk about what brings us to RAGES, Rotary Action Group for Endangered Species. This is just some of the slides we have on the top of our website. We have a new website that we just brought back from a Rotary Club that was holding it. And then we put this into the new website. My wife Terrell has been largely engaged with getting the content back up and running within that. And so I'm just going to hand it over to her to speak about the next thing. Before we do that, just the board, it's here. We have a board of about 10 people, and I'm just showing you here Terrell, Mina, Van Katjaran, Tom Tucheman, and then the 3 new board members for this year, Carolyn DeWitt, Aaron Vadi, and of course your very own Sanjay Krishna. So Terrell, please take it away.
Unmute first. Good morning or good afternoon, good evening, everybody. So as you know, the Rotary has that 4-way test. It's really important. And what I did was put it together with endangered species and thinking about everything. And so let's do that. Of the things we think, say, or do, is it the truth? Is there science and information concerning the endangerment of animals, plants, and habitats to help us help them? Is it fair to all concerned? What actions can we take for the equality and future of endangered animals, plants, and habitats that will ensure all of us thrive and enjoy life together? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Can we build back endangered species and habitats and educate about them throughout the world? And then will it be beneficial to all concerned? Can we live on this earth and thrive in harmony together? I hope you all were, saying it as we do. This is also on our website. The other thing, thinking about it, and Chris actually, talked about this before, but that, actually endangered species are part of all 7 areas of focus for Rotary. And on the top is promoting peace. And thinking about that is working on issues of human and animal conflict, such as the poaching issues in Africa or wherever you are. Or the peace between that territory issue of between humans, tigers, grizzly bears, and bees, and whether or not how we can find peace between those territorial issues. You're talking about fighting disease. Well, it's really important to educate communities to stop the spread of invasive plant and animal species, and also all the diseases that feral animals spread to others. Cats come to mind, especially in island habitats where feral cats are a problem. And of course, everybody needs clean water. So restoring waterways, drinking water for all animals, and restoring wetlands and streams, and cleaning up our oceans. And of course, protecting and conserving Mother Earth for the future of our planet and our children is another mantra of endangered species work. One thing that we need to always be cognizant of is enhancing access to science and community literacy about endangered species, and building curricula for schools, and making sure that part is in there, making sure that citizen science, people are part of monitoring and all of that kind of thing along with it. And then Chris talked about this as well, growing local economies. And so you got to support the development that promotes the sustainability of endangered species communities on land, freshwater, and in oceans. And in Calgary, I was just going to show everybody, and this is something that's been done before, but I got this was on a Uganda page, or I mean a booth at the House of Friendship. And they're bottle caps with fabric around them. And so there are ways to use recycled materials, even making baskets out of invasive species, all those kinds of things that one can do to support habitats and everything else in your local community. And of course, the last but not least, in fact, the most important is protecting the environment and doing all we can. So our first booth that we put together was last year in Singapore, and that was in May of 2024. And we actually increased our membership by 104 new members, and now we have about 900 members in 63 countries. The other thing that we did last year, we started an endangered species action through art award. And this is $1,000 award given to the best artist who's working on endangered species. And last year we gave it to Loris Reinches from Missoula, Montana. And he did, he's an extraordinary young man at 15 who has been doing large sculptures or small sculptures of endangered species around the world. And he usually uses recycled paper and then faux fur and everything else. And then he actually puts clay face and feet. And he's done things from like the California condor, which is, and he's very, very particular about the life thing. So he did for us a true panda, and that was listed. And of course, it's mostly in the Eastern Himalayas. He also is associated with Rotary by his parents meeting as a year-long exchange students in Sweden. And in fact, we know them well, the whole family. And he has just been approved of going to Spain in fellowship for his final senior year next year. So it's really exciting to see his work. And so, yeah, this red panda came to us to Singapore and now resides with Meena in India. So this year, Calgary, we increased our membership by more than 78 members, and now we have 70 countries. And so it's very exciting. And it was terrific. The Hall of Friendship, if any of you have been, is just a really special place with so much going on and so much fellowship that it's a really great thing. If anybody gets to be able to go to an international conference, I really recommend spending time with everybody, especially the action groups. But there's so much more going on there. So this year, the second Rotary Art Award, Endangered Species Action through Art Award, $1,000 given to Diego Carneiro. And Diego, so Chris first heard him in Singapore playing at the Peace Park. And he is like the next Yo-Yo Ma. He's just absolutely terrific cellist. And he also is a Rotary Peace Fellow, born in the Amazon. And so he did a piece for us, and it won the award on an Amazonian elegy, a tribute to lost species. And I'll just read this because it's poignant. He's born from the sense of urgency, the need to respond to deep ecological grief, to preserve through music the spirit of nature. I am inspired by entire ecological symphonies, the nuanced calls of antbirds, mythical sound of the Urapura, the silent gaze of the jaguar, and the gentle presence of the pink river dolphin. And some of these species are vulnerable, while others, such as the antbirds, are biological indicators of habitat quality. And when they vanish, it means forest is no longer healthy. So he's a remarkable young man, and yes, well deserved of this award. So third annual. So we don't have anybody yet, of course, because submissions are open. You can go to our website. And all the media, we've opened it up like just this year, with music, but it's painting, fabric, sculpture, photos, film, mixed media, etc. So it's open until April 30th, 2026, and it is funded by the Erickson and Puttock Conservation Fund, which we have set up now for conservation work.
Thank you,
So
Terrell.
that's on our website. The application form is on the website. Please go ahead, and if you have people that you think might be interested, please go ahead and go on our website.
Thank you. There are QR codes on many of our pages, and this presentation you can go to the QR, use the QR to find the pages that are on our website where you can get the information associated with them. Thank you again,
Chris, I
Terrell.
just saw too a question that is it open to age? Is there an age limit? And I forget what else you said, but there is no age limit. Like I said, so Loris was 15 when he got the award. And Diego, I think, is in his 20s, right, Chris, somewhere. But at any rate, no, there's no age limit whatsoever on the award. What was the other question, Tim? Sorry, saw it in the chat. But at any rate, so go to our website or contact me if you are interested.
Okay. So Rotary Action Group for Endangered Species, moving ahead, what are we doing and how are we doing it? So the first thing is we are forming working groups, and we need volunteer leaders, and just the beginnings of Rages was from 4 Rotarians that were associated with nonprofits that had activities with some of the larger species that were becoming endangered and likely to go extinct without help. And so rhinos with Tom Tutcherman and others working in Africa, and they have a great program, and I'll get Tom Tutcherman to give a presentation on the Black Mamba, which is the women's defense group for rhinos in Africa, and that I'll get him to give that presentation in a few months' time. Pygmy elephants in Borneo, orangutans, and chimpanzees. So these are the working groups that were the original working groups within rages for the first 10 years. And then rages started in 2014. And then I was asked to take over rages as the chair. And so but I said, I'm a botanist. I need to see more than just big animals there. I'd like to see how we can move into protecting uh, endangered species and bringing them off the endangered species if we can across all and any groups that we have members that are associated with. And so looking at mangroves, oceans, butterflies, birds, bees, lemurs, pangolins, snow leopards, and more anything that our members would like to be engaged with, we would like to have working groups associated with them. And so if one is a member of Rages, we're asking people to go to the join page again and register their passions and sign up to lead if they'd like to do that. So just these examples that we started with, the rhinos and the pygmy elephants from Malaysia, chimpanzees from Africa, and orangutan from Borneo, Indonesia. And so that's Kalimantan, Indonesia, and also Sumatra. And of course, there's a lot of opportunity for working with other big animals. This is just an illustration of polar bears. Polar bears are threatened because they're losing sea ice because of global warming. And so they're doing a lot more swimming than they have previously done. They are swimming bears as well as walking on ice, but they have to swim further, and the young have to swim further and climb up onto the ice, and it's very traumatic, I think, when you see, for me as a human, seeing these bears under stress. But over the last 15,000 years, humans have hunted and polluted and removed habitats, leading to the extinction and endangerment of many species. And I think this, as we understand, 11,000 years ago, there were many more big animals around than there are today. And so we've got to really work at protecting the large animals that we still have wherever we can. As was mentioned in my introduction, the bio that I had, I was tapped to work by Sheikh Ahmeda on the mangroves around the world, trying to get some semblance of who's doing what. And back in 2021, I did that search, and I found only about half a dozen Rotary clubs that were sitting beside mangroves who were doing a little bit of work on cleanups, largely removing plastics, and doing maybe $1,000 worth of replanting of mangroves. And so my task there was to find potentials of clubs that would be able to do $30,000 plus projects on mangrove restoration. And so by the end of that first year, 2021, 2022, we had 5 global grants that had been set up for the restoration of mangroves. And so myself and Mina and Caroline de Witz, I asked Caroline to look after the Americas, and Amina looking after Southeast Asia and South Asia, and I was looking after Africa and anywhere else, and trying to get more and more clubs to be engaged with mangrove restoration. And so now we have more than 40 clubs working on mangrove projects around the world. And the last one that I was involved with last year was in Samoa, Pacific Island, Central Pacific. And this is where CHOGM, the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting, was held for what was the British Commonwealth, now the Commonwealth of Nations, now 56 nations in the Commonwealth. And the Commonwealth of Nations is actually becoming larger. Two non-Commonwealth countries joined in the previous year. These were French colonies that joined the Commonwealth. And so they see that this is a way to promote activities around the world for countries that want to work together. And so on the right-hand side of this is the small plant nursery that we started. We planted 350 seedlings to grow here, to grow up, and then be replanted out into this particular mangrove area in Samoa. Samoa has only 3 species of mangroves. There are 70 species of mangroves around the world. Most populous place for speciation is in Indonesia, where in some locations they have something like 47 species of mangroves growing in the same locations. Another working group that we have going right now is this one for ocean. The world has surface is 70% ocean, provides half the oxygen that we breathe, it absorbs 90% of the heat that we produce from our industries, from our cars, and from burning materials. And 30% of the carbon dioxide produced by humans is absorbed by the sea. And yet only 8% of the ocean is under any form of protection whatsoever. David Attenborough argues that this number needs to be increased to 30% to actually protect us and protect wildlife to go on into the future. And so quite an increase in protection, another 3 to 4 times the amount of area needs to be protected from what we're doing to the sea right now, like removing so much. There are more than 1,500 marine species under threat, and there's a lot of habitat loss and disease, pollution, ship strikes, and destructive fishing methods are the real culprits to these declines in these species. So when we're given the opportunity to work with this company to actually have this film, we were then given the opportunity to share this film for free with Rotary around the world. And so RAGES is involved with protecting endangered species through the designation of marine protected areas, and we're really encouraging people that live beside the sea to work with their local jurisdictions to protect the marine areas that are right beside them. Any Rotary Club around the world can request the use of this film. It's 84 minutes long. We can dissect it into smaller pieces for specific activities that you want to do. And it's for non-commercial, non-fundraising purposes. And it's available through RAGES and also through Revive Our Oceans. And those connections, if you hit the QR code, you go directly to the access to this film. And so this is one of the working groups that we have right now, that we're trying to get this film to be put onto as many screens as we can. It's available on Disney Plus and Hulu, those streaming services. And if you want to show it to larger groups, then just contact us and we can get you access to the film. Habitat Restoration Group. So now we know that invasive species create a lot of havoc with the environment and nature, and controlling invasive species is probably the most important thing that we have to do in the recovery of an endangered species. We need to preserve the habitat as well as the endangered species. The endangered species will not live as it would in the zoo. It needs to live in the wild. And so this is just an example of one really great opportunity that's in South India, the Nilgiris Biosphere Reserve, Bandipur, Malai tiger reserves. And so what we see here is the lantana and two other species is really overtaking the landscape. Common boneset is another one, and weeping cassia. These species basically obliterate the native structure of the forest, and therefore the animals that would be eating the forest vegetation, the spotted deer in this case, eating the grasses, then you have fewer spotted deer. The Bengal tiger doesn't have as much food to eat, and the vultures do not have the carcasses to clean up after the deer, along with the hyenas and the leopards. So there's a circular economy of nature that's been broken by invasive species. And so Ranger supports the removal of invasive species in the program called Junglescapes, run by Hanumanth and his team. Hanumanth lives in Mysore, and they've been pulling and cutting hectares of this invasive species. And there's opportunity of turning this invasive species into briquettes and using it for firewood, and so there are opportunities of building structures out of this invasive species that's helpful, and therefore returning the native species of grass and shrubs to bring back the deer and increase the tigers and the lions. And hyenas. We used to have lions in India, but no longer. I think there may be just a few lions left in Gujarat in the northwest. So the goal of Rages now is to actually form other working groups along the lines of maybe protecting reefs, protecting savanna habitats, protecting bee species, and I've got another vulture here, but the opportunities are great. So what we've been encouraging our membership to do, they're close to 1,000 members now, is to go to the join page on the database and fill in the passions that you have, and then we can bring together the people that are within Rages to form working groups so that we can save the snow leopard and the fishing cat and the pangolins and lemurs. I was just really taken by the really great presentation you had several weeks ago on lemurs, because lemurs really suffer in Madagascar because 90% of the forest was cut down in the last century. And so the habitat for these species, which basically filled, so many species filled literally every nook and cranny within Madagascar, because there are no other big mammals in Madagascar to fill those spaces. So the lemurs just really exploded into many species over the millions of years, the separation of Madagascar from the mainland. So what we intend to do within Rages is to have hold monthly seminars, and we'll start with those the groups that we have been working on, and then build into others as more action groups start to evolve around different species. These working groups then will have the opportunity to present that, publish some of their results in the quarterly newsletter. And for me, most importantly, is to capture the metrics associated with projects and the storylines associated with them in a service project center. And I'll come back to that again in a minute. So just to tell you a little bit about how Rages operates, Rages, unlike most of the other Rotary action groups, do not collect annual dues. And what we do is prefer the funds from our members to go towards projects that they want to support. And so we encourage funds that they would have to support the lemurs or the pangolins or whatever is their passion. So we ask all our members to update their membership annually, just going to the website and just, we don't know who you are unless you do update your membership, because it's free. We're not chasing you for money, therefore we rely on you to come back to us. We'd ask everyone to join at least one working group and attend the working group seminars. Yes, there are costs associated with running Rages. It's around about $10,000 a year, and you can see where the costs are distributed there. We are very lean in the way we operate, and so obviously we'd like to have a few donations along towards supporting the core activity of maintaining the action group, but that is not where we want most of our funding to go. We want it to go to support endangered species projects. And so the Rages way has been, as I mentioned before, is to support club projects around, there are 4 major animals, and these were around 4 champions that they had in Rotary clubs. And so I see that Rotary clubs will have champions for endangered species in those clubs, and we want to be able to find them, build up the capacity and the connections with other people with like interests to support the species and habitats. I love to talk about habitats because, again, you can't support a species if you don't have a habitat for it to live in. And so Rotary plans, Rages plans to continue in the same way to, as these first 4, we want to build out to many more working groups around species. More champions means more species protected, more support from Rages membership in lieu of those membership fees. And just in terms of grants and things that you can do, small club projects and district projects are $100 to $20,000. These are projects that can be done really locally without any international assistance. Larger projects, which are global grants, $30,000 or more, they require an international partner and a local club, a host club, to do those projects. And anytime I can talk about how to put these programs together. If you've got a species or a habitat that you want to protect, talk to me about how to set up a global grant. I'll be happy to do that. I mentioned previously about collecting data. Now, the endangered species website is there. We've had to move it from what it was before with a new name. We need to report articles, information that you might have on endangered species or species in decline with biodiversity loss. We need articles to go into the newsletter. We aim to get the newsletter going quarterly. And if we don't have information coming through to us, then we don't have a need for a regular newsletter, but we'd like to have that. And then reporting data to iRotary and the Rotary Service Project Center, which used to be called Showcase. And Showcase was initially just the opportunity for Rotarians in their clubs to show a project. It's been built out just a little bit more than that. So now they're at least collecting the names of the people that are actually doing the leaders that are doing the projects and the location, but not very much more. And when you're trying to build up a project, one needs to get more granular data than that. You need to know how many trees are being planted and how big they were and how fast they're growing and how many haven't been eaten by goats. And so one needs to know granular data on any sort of project one is doing. So we set up iRotary. We started with a project that back in 2018 was funded half by SRAG and half by the Jubitz Foundation, $10,000 project, so $20,000 in all, to actually start bringing together this granular data into a database. Then some Rotarians from Coimbatore came to me and said, well, can we build an app for that? And so then this app called iRotary was set up. And so now this mobile app can be used to capture data associated with projects that you have anywhere in the world. And so it's not just for trees, it's for anything that you're working with. And if the capacity is not there right now because a field is not a field in the database is not available, then we can build that out to fix that. It works by geofencing. Basically, it sets a polygon of where you're working and enables you to upload photographs. There's a desktop entry for the more granular data that one wants to put in. It can be easily tailored for any projects in the areas of focus, 7 areas of focus now. And it has built-in reminders. So every 6 months and 12 months, you get a reminder to the person who's leading the project. Hey, have you checked in with your project to see how it's developing, how it's sustainable, how it's moving forward? Moving towards the end of our program today, we obviously like to have collaborations, and we love the collaboration that we're starting to build with wildlifers and also with the Rotarians for Bees, Food Plant Solutions, Operation Pollination, and then beyond that, looking at the World Wildlife Fund, Global Mangrove Alliance, and many more. If you have a species that you're particularly interested in, then there's usually some nonprofit that's out there that's already starting to work on it. And I know the lemurs I've mentioned several times now. Lemurs were a favorite of Durrell. Durrell then set up a zoo on Jersey in the Channel Islands of Great Britain. And so there's a lot of work that's done on lemurs from there, and there's a lemur association and alliance from there. And this is just an opportunity that's waiting to happen within Rotary to build out projects associated with different organisms around the world. And obviously, I'm really like the wildlifers, and the fact that you can go to your wildlife website and still see all of the presentations from I think it was 2021 all the way to present as monthly presentations. They were just wonderful. So now I just want to open it up for questions, for discussion and collaboration. And I just wish there was not so many endangered species in the world. It's a big task. But anyway, we've got a few people now. Just even within our two organizations, we've got close to 2,000 members. And let's do something about it. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Chris, and thank you, Terrell, for taking us through the great work that is being undertaken by the action groups. When we started the Rotary Fellowship Group for Wildlife Conservation, a lot of members, were keen on doing projects related to conservation. So as a fellowship group, we always wanted Rotary clubs to take up those kind of projects, and we wanted to support those clubs, whoever is taking up projects related to wildlife conservation. There are a few clubs which have done for wildlife conservation. There's many more clubs are now joining to do. I am sure Rotary Action Group for endangered species will be a very good platform for a lot of Rotarians to come forward and do their bit to save the endangered ones. We do have slender loris here. We have our wolves, Indian wolves, which are all endangered. There are many more, lion-tailed macaques. I'm sure. There's a long list of endangered species in our state, Karnataka itself. So I think we should, like you said, we should look forward to collaborate and do something. And it's also a very nice, option for the members to visit your page, and then also evince their interest in, they can choose the kind of endangered species that they want to support. And please, I also sincerely and humbly request each one of you here, and also those who are going to watch this video later, to please visit the website. I have shared it on the group for everybody's benefit. So now I will open it for questions. If anybody has anything to ask, please feel free to
Hi.
raise your hand, or
Like always,
yeah.
on big loud mouth over here.
Arun, you want to say something?
Yes, I do.
Yes, please.
And could we do something? I mean, there are funds and there are people interested, but if we could get into uh, animals per se that are of the iconic things like the tiger, the elephant, and all of that, but nobody knows much about the Nilgiri marmot, the marten, or the otter, which are actually critically endangered. If we could push some kind of maybe social media awareness towards them, and there are these little groups who are really interested in these species, so to say. If we could, like, I know we're all like people who are very interested in saving all these animals, but let's move away from tigers and elephants and lions, as far as I'm concerned. I'm not saying let's move away from it, but there are these little fellows here and there who need saving as well.
Absolutely, I completely agree, and this is why it's local as well as international. So you know, who has even heard of a fishing cat in a mangrove? Not very many people. So those people that live near those mangroves that are trying to support the fishing cat need help to help preserve those. And as you mentioned, you know, there are so many local species that are under local extinction, and you know, even complete extinction because you know, they're only existing in those places. And so this gives us the opportunity for people registering their interest, and then us saying to anybody that's interested in that species, when we put the spotlight on them, to say this species is critically endangered in this place. They need a few $1,000s to do some work in this to protect this species. Rotary can work with the local jurisdictions and so on to actually make something happen. And so Rotarians around the world could actually put money towards your project. And so one of the things I really like to happen is so money doesn't be transmitted through rages so much to get to a project. Those funds can go directly to the project that needs the help, go directly to the club that needs the help to do those works. And so you've mentioned a few species there, and that's really wonderful. I mean, let's try and do that. And as we grow around the world, we'll be able to take on so many more species. This is exactly what we want to do. Find the small working groups to fill these gaps. Terrell, do you want to say something?
No, I just agreeing, and exactly that. I mean, I think going to the website, setting that out, and getting us a heads up, and then we can help, you know, get it directed to the right place, and help support the marten or those other species you're talking about.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Aaron.
Looks like Shreyas has something to say.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hi.
Please.
Thank you, Sanjay, for putting this together, and thanks, Chris and Terrell. I was honestly amazed at the very angle this entire session kind of took. Very inclusive, and how it cuts across borders and purposes to kind of bring together. But I had one question. This iRotary seems like a very wonderful and a powerful initiative. I personally worked with Yahoo Maps in the past, and I always believe that, data is God, right? So I'd probably want to delve some more to understand, and maybe I will shoot some questions offline. But is this iRotary open for anyone who has access to it to kind of accumulate data around the initiative, and have people kind of join in, contribute to the data, and then probably take some initiative actions, towards, endangered species, or, animals or plants? Is that how it works? Or
Yeah.
is it yeah? So I can just
No,
pick a cause and bring in data, and then, because, for example, the red panda example is one of it, right? Endangered and very, very, present in remote corners of the world, right? So such kind of behavioral studies, will the data help in iRotary?
absolutely. So all data that's associated with a club project could go into iRotary. So then those data can be seen by everybody. They are
Wonderful.
available to everyone. It's free. It's free access. So it's right now, because no, there are just a few hundred entries put in. It's weak in terms of the information that's there. But the more Rotary clubs put their information into iRotary, the stronger it gets. And of course, a lot of people talk about AI these days. AI can only work on
Data.
good imperial data.
Yeah,
Otherwise, it's making up figures and things. It's
absolutely.
basically guesswork about
Absolutely.
what. Yeah, and so the more empirical data we put in, the better and stronger it's going to be, and the better results we're going to get. So the important thing is, if you're working on the snow leopard, and then you find out that a lot of people are interested in snow leopards, but they're not living in
Yeah.
in Nepal. So then what are we going to do about that? We can actually get the local people to say this is what we need to protect the snow leopard, and then we can get people around the world to recognize that this is a really good cause. And I really think that there are just so many species out there that are completely lost. The small animals. Now, across Australia, there are just so many small kangaroo-like creatures. They're all marsupials. They're the size of rats and mice, that are just perfect for feline, cat to take
Yeah.
out. These need protecting, and the first species we know that's gone extinct, really is a rat from between New Guinea and Australia, where the island was actually overtaken by a big wave, and so that species was on that island, evolved there, and then disappeared. Um, but animals, invasive species will take away native species
Yeah,
all
Chris,
the time.
actually,
And so,
now
yeah,
that we are onto the AI discussion, I just want to put in my two little bits. Very interesting, though. Artificial intelligence helping you find information. My cousin, Navid, and I sat together and Googled each other on AI. Half the time, his name showed up instead of my name. Half the time, my partying showed up crisscross over each other. So I don't think we should be even bothering about AI at the serious level of work that we are involved in. I think that just needs to be chucked out of the window.
I agree.
We
I
literally,
agree. Yeah, I agree with you very much there. But the more information we put into our
Yes.
databases, the
Yes.
better and the stronger it's going to be in the future. Like
Yeah.
right now, I've been getting some photographs sent to me of the blue tiger butterfly, and the monarch butterfly.
Yeah.
So the Danaus species. And no, I know most of those species, and when I put a photograph into AI, what comes back? It's a monarch, but I know it's not a monarch. It's one of the other 13 species of that genus. But because there's not enough information about those other species in there and the distinctions between them, then AI can only respond back with the information that it's built on.
Available. Yeah.
It can't,
Yeah.
no, it can't give us back accurate information unless we put accurate information in the first place. And so that's where we have to get to the point of uploading data that's really granular and can be used to create that future we're going to have. There's no way of escaping how much people are going to rely on artificial intelligence to provide answers for us. And unless we give the answers correctly in the first place,
Yeah.
then we're not going to get accurate
On
answers.
on a lighter note, maybe I'd use this to make a list of good humans who are also becoming endangered species now. But yeah, thank you, Chris. Yeah.
Okay, but certainly, as a first step,
Yeah.
when looking for organizations that are out there that have, one can find multiple. If I'm looking for something on mangroves, then there are many different groups associated with mangroves now. Um, and so when we're working on different habitats, when we're working on different species, AI will give us some sense to start with, but then we probably know better, but at least it's given us a foothold to find out who else is out there. Um, okay. And this is one of the things I know when I'm talking about getting our members to register their interests. Then when we've got those members that are interested in whales or whatever, we can group everybody. I can send an email out to everybody that said, I'm interested in whales. I'm interested in pangolin. So then we can say, okay, we've got this group within Rages that's interested in this. Here they are, and
That'll be awesome.
this group wants to work
Yeah,
together.
I do think connecting the dots, right? So registering that and then connect the dots with the community and even citizen science at the local level, even the kids, working all the way through to get better data, to be able to really understand the species needs and what's going on there, I think is really critical. So I think that's what that's how we're trying to approach this is, just connect the dots on that.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Oh, Chris, Terrell, hello. Good morning. So when it comes to data and training AI, one of the biggest gaps in the natural history world online is actually data on Wikipedia. A lot of AI is trained on Wikipedia. And in India, for example, I have a lot of friends in the wildlife circles who complain a lot about how poor it is. And a few of them have joined and become deep members of the Wikipedia community. And some of our close friends in Bangalore, for example, have contributed tremendously to things like Lepidoptera, birds, all of those. And in fact, whenever I show some of my photos after my trips, some people say, "Why don't you go put this on Wikipedia? Because this species doesn't have good photos." I didn't even know I'd accidentally photographed a highly endangered turtle in Kaziranga National Park. I thought it was some other species, and when I actually was editing my photos, I found it was something called the Indian spotted pond turtle, and turned out it was critically endangered and highly trafficked. And they said, "You are very lucky, but can you please put this up on Wikipedia because there are no good photos for this species on Wikipedia," right? So, and Wikipedia is considered a high authority site by AI systems. So one of the things that we could possibly do as Rotary together when it comes to gathering data, helping improve AI, and I'm very pro AI. That's part of my daily bread. So I use AI extensively. I know the power of it. It's easy to dismiss it, but it's extremely powerful. And a lot of people who may use it in lay terms may not realize it. But in the next few years, it's going to upend a lot of what we know about ourselves and about the way humans are, right? How we interact as a society, how we exchange information, how we are discovered, all of that is going to change. I think one of the key things that we could do is help strengthen public sources of data, right? And Wikipedia is a classic one. Take any of the endangered species. Can we put in an effort to say, hey, we can make sure that as whether it's SRAG or any of Rages or anybody else who's working in different aspects of biodiversity, can we look at saying, we are going to strengthen the Wikipedia data on species, right? That could be a tremendous value to the public as a simple project. And it also meets the other objective of strengthening AI systems' knowledge of endangered species. So that is something to consider as well. Happy to connect all of us, get into a call with some of the Wikipedia people who work in the wildlife space, understand their struggles, the inability to get images and videos. Even though there are thousands of photographers who photograph these things, I've been very lazy. I've complained about it to them. There are at least 7 species that I could upload where there are no good photos in Wikipedia, right? And people have said, "Why can't you just go to it?" And I'm like, it's easier for me to put it on Instagram than to put it on Wikipedia and to write about
Well,
the
let
sighting.
me, if you will allow me, let me come in on this.
Pictures
It's
of
just
good
that
human.
the whole
Sorry,
endangered
I don't know who's
species and
speaking. I'm not able to make
this
out.
is Arun here. I'm sorry. I butted into your conversation. But yeah, I think somebody like us who are into endangered species and all that, if we could focus on simple little things instead of being this big, what do you call it? We are for this cause type of a thing. If we could pick up little things that we are actually interested in, and small animals or big animals or whichever that are actually in the endangered list, and pick on them and work focused.
Arun, do you mind just holding on to this conversation? This is moving away from what I was suggesting. Could we just step back for a moment? I was just suggesting this at a rageous level. So, Chris, that is really what I was thinking. If you wanted to kind of look at data collection and some of those things, this is a public source of data which is very weak, something that could be contributed. It need not be one big project for everyone to do, right? You have different working groups. Can people look into that?
Okay, so one of the things I want to be really
You
cautious.
should actually look into IIT Bombay, who have a citizen science group that is collecting data. That
Yeah.
will probably give you a stronger platform to talk from.
Okay, I'll just finish my thought here, and that is that working with endangered species is very treacherous in that if we focus on where a species is, then we can lose it because people are going to chase it to find it. And so I work with endangered species of plants, and so we never give the precise location for where a species is. So we're very careful on blurring where, just like my background, blur where we are. And so then we don't focus on this species was found on this creek in this valley, and then we don't have that species anymore because some rare orchid collector has gone out and collected that orchid. We need to just be really careful about location data, but we need to be able to talk about the species itself so that we can help that species recover. Of course, some species were always rare, and we've got to protect the forest that the species was growing in, or the habitat that the species was growing in. If we don't protect the whole habitat, then that species, rare species in a forest, is very important as well. But I just want to mention that there are two Rotary fellowships that have started in this last year. One is called the Fellowship for Information Technology Professionals. So that's one, and the other one is a Rotary Fellowship for Artificial Intelligence. And so these both sort of overlap with each other in the way they manage data, but they approached me about 3 years ago to say, can we form a Rotary action group around that? And I said, well, we don't even have a fellowship associated with data collection right now. How about forming a group for data collection? And so these are the two groups that have formed associated with that. They're not a Rotary action group yet, but both of them are trying to get to be that, to be a Rotary action group for addressing this really very big issue that's coming at us full speed with artificial intelligence. And I really think that unless we get that really precise empirical data in, then it's really important. And I really take that great point that was made about enhancing Wikipedia. Wikipedia is asking all the time for people to come up with precise information about subjects. Now, I go on and look at species of plants, and I find that 3 or 4 that have gone into cultivation are well known, and then the rest of the genus is not well known at all. It's just still existing as a single name. And those are the species that are going to go out of existence because they're just a name. They're not being exposed as a species as what they are. Okay, and I just keep going back to the fact that Rages is free. If you have an interest in a particular species, join us, put your information in, and if there are only a few taxa that are there right now, tell us which species you want to work with, and then we'll find the other people around the world that are interested in that group with you. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Chris. I saw Cosma had raised her hand.
Hi, Sanjay.
Yeah.
Hi, Christopher and Terrell and everybody else. My question was, it says biodiversity of endangered species. So I'm presuming we humans also can come under this?
Yes, we are probably we're the worst invasive species of all.
So my question is linked to the COVID virus that broke out. At that time, were we in danger of going extinct?
I don't believe so. COVID, one of the COVID viruses is the common cold.
Okay.
And so around about 2,000 years or more ago, I suspect that a form of COVID came out and wiped out a lot of people. And those that weren't affected so much by that virus survived by having just the common cold.
And we are those survivors.
And we're those survivors. So every time a disease comes around, it's more than likely not to kill us all. So Ebola will not kill all of us because some of us have a part of the Ebola DNA embedded in our DNA. So we're going to be able to survive because we have that embedded in our DNA. It's almost like a protection because you've got a slice of it in your DNA. And I suspect now we probably have a piece of a COVID virus embedded in our DNA that protects us from some types of COVID.
Are we born embedded with this, or does it happen when the virus breaks out, we build an immunity to it and it gets embedded there?
As well. I'm not an epidemiologist, so you're asking the wrong person. But you know, all I can do is report on the AI that I have.
Okay. So only animals and flora and fauna get extinct, not humans.
Humans are not likely to go extinct anytime soon unless they do some very dangerous things.
Thank you.
On this. This is the conversation that Chris and I have heard. We've had in the past. There've been dinosaurs, there've been mammoths, and there've been all these fellows who went extinct. But we will be the first people out there to be responsible for our own extinction.
Possibly so. But, you know, remember the dinosaurs. The dinosaurs didn't go extinct. They became birds.
Actually, yeah.
Dinosaurs were birds too. No. So it's all about time frame. You know, so just think about the lifespan of dinosaurs versus humans right now. So I mean, I do think that it's a time issue of extinction.
Now, this is something that makes me cackle up and laugh when they say, "Let's save Mother Earth." No, you're not going to save Mother Earth. Mother Earth is going to be there forever. It's just whether the conditions are good for humans to survive. That's what you're targeting.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a message from David. He says, until we can convince governments to realize just what they have around them and convince them to protect the worlds, we are battling against a strong wind.
Yeah. So this is a very important point. So one of the things about Rotary is that we're not supposed to be involved with politics and religion and various other things like this. But it doesn't mean we're not involved with governance. So the way people govern is important to Rotarians. And so, but the politics is not. We should leave our political hat on the corner outside the room, but the way we govern is really important. And so that's, I had a politician come to a Rotary meeting about 4 or 5 months ago, and he gave this presentation, a wonderful presentation about what they're doing in government and politics and whatever. And so I asked the question, well, what can Rotary do with what you're saying? He said, well, no, you're not involved with us because we're political. And I said, yes, we are. We're involved with how you govern. That's how we're important. It's important to us to see that people live well, happy lives, and we want the animals and the plants live a happy life as well. Yeah. So we want everything to survive the way it should, and not be destroyed because of our misuse.
You spoke about fishing cats. So, in fact, we had a speaker last year, I think, Tiasa Adya. She is working on, conservation of fishing cats in the area of Chilka, Orissa. And one of the projects that she has undertaken working with the farmers is, she uh, supports them, or she encourages them to grow rice organically, and she's trying to provide them the market, and a part of that comes to the conservation work as well. I mean, it's indirectly working the it is indirectly helping the conservation of wetlands there. So that's we have a lot of people, like you said, there are plenty of people who are working in different areas and doing their best. I think we should try, and like Terrell said, we should connect the dots, and we should become one umbrella organization to help all of them. So thank you very much, Chris, for that lovely session. Thank you, Terrell, for joining, and it was really indeed a great session. So hope we have taken all the questions. So it's been almost I think it must have been 4 a.m. in the morning for you, right, Chris?
That's correct. And so it's 4 a.m. for Terrell as well. But we do live in the endangered species capital of the world. So, we have about 1,000 species of plants and 25 species of birds that are currently on the edge of extinction. So,
Mahalo, though, everybody, and keep up the good work. And like I did say, connecting the dots and getting together on these projects. Check out our website. Go on, definitely show your passions, and we can help connect the dots for you.
Thank you. Thank you.